Hi, this is David Justice. So, um, uh, this is in response to people that were interested in the tools that I use, specifically the um, the way that I go about using Merriam-Webster. But this is kind of a tool in tandem. So these are basically two simple tools to help you write better. Um, and so this is called Hemingway Editor, and you can wherever however you choose to search for it, find it. And it's HemingwayApp.com. So this basically is a phenomenal tool. You can go all the way. It'll take you all the way through to postgraduate. Grade 16, etc., and in postgraduate, so doctorates and what have you, and it'll help you kind of get your language simplified very quickly. Hemingway made a statement. I'm not sure exactly. I read it, but I'm not sure exactly where. And if I quote it incorrectly, well, that's just the way it is. I've not found the perfect yet of anything, right? So he said something along these lines, and it was simply this: that he wrote he worked to write in a third or fourth grade language level, third or fourth grade level, right? Because that was the language of the people, and it made it easier for people to understand. Um, so that's the reason why I use this. This is a beautiful tool. The tool that we spoke of was the Merriam-Webster. I can give you a really, it just happened this morning. I was working on writing, just encouraging somebody in Facebook about a landing page that they have, or actually about a website they have from South Africa. And so I wrote this. I was in blank. I was inspired. Foodies love food and the flavors that influence them. And then cheers. I initially wrote instead of influence. I initially wrote inspire them. But that was using two times, and I thought, yeah, that doesn't, let me look for something else. So what did I do? I went here and I looked for it. So um, this is pretty phenomenal the way this works. Clearly, we have a dictionary and a thesaurus, but um, I basically looked through here, and what did I come up with? Influence. So that worked really well. So if you want to be able to find different words to say different things, then clearly you have both dictionary and thesaurus, but that's not the power behind this particular tool. Um, but I want to pause for a moment on this tool, and we'll go back to the Hemingway app. So this is how it works, right? For the life of me, I don't know why this is doing this. So it tells you where it is, how many words, and so if it's a fairly difficult sentence to read, it'll highlight that. If it's a super difficult one, it'll highlight that. It'll help you as far as utilizing, replace or omit. So, and in this particular case, so let's look for. You can use a shorter word in place of the purple one. Mouse over a shorter word, a different word. So you can actually grab that and go into go here and then punch that in or whatever it may be for you, right? And then look for those different words. Um, let me go here one more moment, please. Here's a beautiful thing about the Hemingway editor. You see here, so you have bold, you have italic, uh, you have H1, so that's your like headline one, and we call it an H1 tag for your websites. So, and then you have an H2, and then you have an H3, and they're different sizes. Also, there's a designation in here. So you can put a quote, you can put bullets, you can do numbers, you can do links, any number of things. So you can grab this. So you can literally build some of this right here in Hemingway Editor that you can put on your website. Okay, so that's pretty sweet. It kind of gives you that built-in. There's some back-end coding and so on and so forth. So as you see here, that's fourth grade level. Um, if I were to remove this as an example, delete. it goes up to the 7th grade. You see now. And so you can navigate the waters here to your to to meet what you're looking for and what you need. This is pretty powerful. So let me just show you that this is not always as difficult as we might think. Or here's something. Let me go here and go back to here and then do that. Okay, here you go. Now that's microbes, right? So this is coming from the national, yeah, you see, NIH, and this is on the Human Genome Research Institute, their page in the National Institute of Health. So this is .gov US, and so you can see this, and look at this, uh, I did nothing but grab these two sentences, right? I grabbed one sentence and two sentences, and it's hard to read, it says. So even there, they're not doing such a great job, right? I mean, even them, they're not doing such a great job. See, postgraduate. So, and it says aim for 14. So if you're going to speak to a specific, clearly, if that's your market, if that's then this can help you get there. But it's, again, they're saying even postgraduate, aim for 14. Let me take you one more place. So if you're looking for to kind of get a feeling for, how well does do people write across the web, this is a perfect example. Here's WebMD. It's got a lot of search volume, and I'll kind of go over the search volume in a little bit on Merriam-Webster, but a lot of search volume, well-known site. And let's just take this. So we're going from postgrad to that. That's what this is, this definition here, right? So, um, so I mean, even the writers, and I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying this is so common across the web that it makes it very difficult for people to understand. I mean, to go over and to read. Um, Let me delete that. There you go. Okay, so that's 14. And it says aim for 9. So you got one sentence that's super hard to read, and then you have basically a call out on a passive voice, using a passive voice. So let me step into this. So just so that you know, this is common. So having these struggles to get the language narrowed down and very, very targeted is it's work. So let me stop for one moment and go here. Okay, let me explain what this can be super helpful, right? Um, this is what we call keywords anywhere. I think Daniel Bernstein's spoken about this as far as a keyword somewhere in something I've read that he's posted online. And unfortunately, yeah, I don't get to everything as good as it is. I don't probably get to as much, but as I should or could. Well, anyway, leave that alone, right? So, this is 303,532,500, and we call these unique searches in a month. I use an example. So maybe you understand what the unique search is, maybe you don't. In case you don't, here's a great idea. And this talks about the authority in this particular instance of this or any particular site. The search volume. I use the example of an envelope. If you have a particular envelope, let's just say that that's an envelope, whatever size, however, whatever it may be. That envelope represents one search. Let's say that you go to Merriam-Webster once in the beginning of the month or the middle of the month or someplace, right? And that one visit is basically like tied to your IP address is like an envelope. It creates like an envelope. You can go a total of 100 times to the site in a month. It will take the 99 additional visits that you made and put them into that envelope one. And so it all becomes one. It's just that envelope envelops all of those visits, and it's counted as one unique visit. So, and this is organic traffic. This is not any paid, and they do have paid ads. So to think that this could be 500 million, three quarter, I mean, 750 million searches a month. This site has a lot of authority. So um, let's going back to here. So I wanted to find another word than inspire. I found influence. This Merriam-Webster has such this particular tool I talked about. Now I'm in Chrome. This is a little hack that I created. Well, I didn't create it because I didn't write the code, but I came up with it as far as a process to achieve what I'm looking to achieve, and that is find information quickly. This will help you also if you employ it. So whatever it is, I do Control F. Mac might be, Option F, I think is maybe on the Mac. Doesn't matter, you'll know. So, and if you don't know, of course, you can look it up. So the key here is top. This is in the top 1% of the words. I use success, and I'll put that in here too, but I use success. So basically, the algorithm is looking at all those 300, 500, whatever the search volume is for all the words, and then calculates what words are in the top 1%, so on and so forth, okay? Um, this is very helpful. I want to do something else. I want to do success because this was what I had the other day. I've already done I've done multiple versions of this. I'm trying to be um, succinct. So success. Dr. McLaughlin talks about success or different other words, and about needing to basically put. I use an idea. I think of the words that we use as skeletons, bones, bone structures. If you success is nebulous, success is vague in general. Maybe a better word would be outcome. Maybe a better word would be result. And but I suggest this is how I view it. If I want my words to have power, I can take a word like this and I can put meat on the bones or muscle to it. And 10 ways to succeed in business manager in accounting manage in business accounting management. That's not a field that I'm associated with at all. I'm just trying to pull something that just came out of my head. Came out of my hat, came out of the hat. So imagine that that's 10 successful ways to, and then of course I would take that as an example, 10 successful ways, go over here, I would put it in here, and then, try to narrow it down. I'd write it, and then I would take my language, I take my copy, and I would just work on it, and I would get it, just narrow it down, narrow down, until finally I came up with something that makes sense, that gives me, yeah, just quick and easy and digestible. And that's really probably the key. Even if you're writing in big, in like, a postgraduate language, the key probably is to write in bite-sized chunks. It, 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 I won't go into the neuroscience of this, how we are in our brains and so forth, even though I have a lot of knowledge and experience, understanding of it. But we chunk things. We put things in chunks, and the easier for us to grab something and put it in a chunk, as people, this is what we do. We take bite size, just like eating a bite of a cake or a piece of fruit or whatever it may be. We can only handle so much. The brain can only handle so much, and so little bite-sized chunks, and then string them together one to the other, right? So that you help that individual come to a yes after yes after yes after yes, forming conclusions, right? So the key with the inverted funnel is those are steps up a ladder or steps up a stairwell or staircase. And each step of the yes through that process has to be stated in a way that makes sense. Let me go back here. Success is vague. It has to be clear. And so every step of the way helps them understand. And I love the way that Dr. McLaughlin uh, presents that. In it it helps them come to a conclusion. And that's the goal. We want to help the reader, the listener, follow the flow so that they can come to a conclusion on their own that yes, this meets what, whatever that longing in my heart is, whatever, where it may be, whatever that conversation I have on going on in my mind is. Robert Collier said back in the 1900s, early 1900s, all of us have a conversation going on in our mind, every single one. If we can plug in, this is where Dr. McLaughlin gets into the testing and the, working through the nuances and figuring out, okay, well that, if I do this, if I do that, let's see what the difference is. And these are where these results and these tests are coming from. So that to me, you know, these two tools are super helpful and will just, I mean, make your life easy, really make your life easier. So if you choose to do that, then, I mean, I think it's going to empower you. I think you're going to, come to greater and greater success in trying to communicate effectively in bite size and chunks and pieces, and then string them together. Use this. Choose words. If success doesn't work, try outcome, try results. Look for different opportunities that help you refine your language, help you refine your message, right? And so if we've got a puzzle in our mind that your ideal prospect, the language that will help them and will fit into that piece of as a piece of the puzzle to help them achieve the goal that they're looking for. That's it's not rocket science. I mean, this is human, uh, you know, relational, thing. So anyway, I hope this helps and wish you all the best.